My name is Thomas. I used to be just a regular Uber driver in Nashville. Until that night. It was around 2 a.m., light rain falling, fog hanging heavy over the roads. I was ready to log off when one last request popped up. The location? Middle of nowhere, right next to an old abandoned barn on the edge of the forest. No name, no photo, just one message. Pick me up by the barn. I pulled up. No lights, no movement, just the sound of wind whistling through the trees. And then, the back door opened. She got in without a word. A woman, soaking wet, pale skin, hair dripping over her face, and wearing a torn white dress stained with dirt and something darker. She entered a destination, Cemetery Hill. The whole ride was dead silent, but the deeper into the woods we drove, the more uneasy I felt. I glanced into the rearview mirror. Her face, it was changing. Blood on her lips, eyes black. Then I saw it. A drop of blood rolled down her neck and landed on my leather seat. I asked softly, "Are you okay?" She smiled. Her mouth was full of sharp, inhuman teeth. And then I heard whispering, laughter, from the back seat. Only there was no one there. I turned around. She was gone. The seat was empty. Only blood remained. My heart was pounding. I was frozen. I reached for the ignition to leave, and that's when my car died. Dead. Nothing. I turned the key again and again, but it was like the engine didn't exist. Suddenly, bang! Something hit the back of the car. Then again, my car rocked as if something massive was slamming into it. Then, the windshield. Crack! The glass splintered. A scream tore through the fog. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. And then, through the mist, a figure appeared. A priest. Long black robes, soaked in rain. A silver cross hanging from his neck. He stepped slowly toward the car, and everything went silent. Even the rain stopped. He opened my door and said gently, "My son, are you all right? Come with me." I didn't know what to do. I was alone, trapped, terrified. So I nodded. I followed him. He brought me into an old stone church. Inside, it was warm, still. He gave me food, let me rest. When I told him my story, he smiled and said, "I know. That's why I came for you." I asked who he was, how he knew. He didn't answer, just stared into the candlelight. That night outside the church, I heard them again. Screams, whispers, pounding on the windows. But the priest said, "You're safe here. Nothing can harm you inside these walls." The next morning I went back to my car. One turn of the key, the engine roared to life. I didn't wait. I left that place and never looked back. But that night, I got sick. Fevers, hallucinations, and the voices came back. Every night I'd hear screams, knocks, and laughter in my ears. I couldn't sleep. I was losing my mind. Until I remembered the priest. I went back to the church. He was waiting. Without a word, he handed me a leather bracelet, a small silver cross woven in. He said, "I knew you'd return. I meant to give you this that night, but you left too fast." I put it on. And since then, silence, No whispers, no blood, no screams. But I swear, the moment I take the bracelet off, even for 1 second, they come back. If you ever take an Uber ride through Tennessee and your driver has no name, no photo, and he's headed to Cemetery Hill, just pray he never took off that bracelet. Because if he did, that ride might be your last.
Ever since I put that bracelet on, the voices stopped. No more whispers, no more blood, no more cold hands brushing my neck at night. But it didn't feel over. It felt paused. I never took the bracelet off. Not in the shower, not while sleeping, not once. But a few nights ago, while driving a late shift, I hit something on the road. A sharp jolt. Looked like an animal. I pulled over to check, got out, walked a few feet, and then I heard it, a soft clang behind me. I turned around. My bracelet had slipped off. I don't know how. The leather was strong. It never loosened before. But there it was, on the ground, face down in the mud. I bent to grab it, and that's when I heard her again. That same whisper from the back seat, right next to my ear. "You left me." I turned around. No one was there. But my car was running. Headlights flickered. The engine revved. The driver door opened on its own. I walked toward it slowly. There were wet footprints on the pavement leading straight from the woods to the driver's seat. I got in, locked the doors, put the bracelet back on. Everything went quiet. But for a second, in the rearview mirror, she was there, smiling, dripping wet, blood running down her jaw, and then gone. Since that night, it's gotten worse. The bracelet, it's cracking now, little pieces of leather flaking off, the silver cross turning black. I went back to the church, but it was gone. No building, no priest, just an empty patch of dirt. I looked everywhere, asked around. No one had ever seen a church on that road, ever. They said that land's been abandoned for decades. Now, every night, I hear the knocking again. But not outside, inside my house. Sometimes on the bathroom mirror, sometimes under the bed. One night, I woke up with wet footprints leading from the front door to my bedroom. And last night, I found something new on my kitchen table. A note, written in blood. It said, "Next time, don't take it off." So if you're ever given something that keeps the dark away, never take it off, because once they've found you, they never stop watching. It's been 12 days since I found that note. "Next time, don't take it off." And I haven't. The bracelet's still on my wrist, but it's barely holding together now. The leather is dry and cracked. The cross is turned black, like it's rotting from the inside out. I haven't slept more than 2 hours a night. Not because I can't, but because I don't trust what I see when I close my eyes. Every time I dream, I'm driving. Same road, same fog, same passenger in the back seat. Except now, in the dream, she doesn't disappear. She leans forward, whispers my name, and then she starts screaming, louder than anything I've ever heard. My ears ring when I wake up. Sometimes they bleed. But last night was worse, because when I woke up, I wasn't in bed. I was in the driver's seat of my car, parked in front of that same barn. Except this time, the back door was already open. And inside,
There were claw marks, fresh ones, on the seat, on the windows, on the ceiling. I don't remember driving there. I don't even remember leaving my house. My phone was still on the nightstand, but the car's mileage showed I'd driven 17 miles. She's not outside anymore. She's in me. I went to a priest today, a real one, told him the whole story. He looked at the bracelet, said nothing. But the moment his hand touched mine, he jerked back like he'd been burned. He said there's something inside me. He called it a passenger, something that never leaves once it gets in. He gave me holy water, a small Bible, and a number for a spiritual counselor in New Mexico. He said if things get worse, don't wait, run. But when I got home, the Bible he gave me was gone, and in its place on the kitchen counter was a key, an old iron key, rusty, blackened, freezing cold to the touch. Wrapped around it was a strip of wet cloth from a white dress. You think you can outrun the dead. You think if you don't believe in it, it can't hurt you. But what happens when it rides with you? What happens when the ghost doesn't want to haunt your house? It wants your body.